every 4 years we get this election cycle and everyone goes on the internet and starts talking about how the sky is falling and how the world is ending because the world isn't the way that they think it should be. And I kind of get it, because the biggest regret, the biggest pitfall in my early 20s was being so politically entrenched. I was a mean person. I didn't have any openness. I couldn't really critically think and develop my own opinions and beliefs and values. It prevented me from loving everybody, or at least trying to love everybody. It prevented me from trying to develop deep, meaningful relationships with everybody. It, most of all, prevented me from being present, because I was so worried about the future and what was going to happen. In 2024, most of 2024, I've been pretty blessed to have been in a really good situation, getting settled down in a new place that's my own, and developing new friends that are becoming somewhat of a family to me, and people who are authentic and just want to love others like they love themselves. And I got to go to Europe and experience different cultures and meet new people and have a completely different experience. And I've just been so present and so thankful and so grateful. And now that I'm in this position, I turn on and I look at the rest of the world, and people are suffering. I have friends, I have teammates, I have family members that don't have a lot of time left on this earth, who are crushed by the anxiety of the world because of all the fear mongering that happens, that the narratives they get told by legacy media and the things they hear on Facebook and the fights they have with people, and it ruins their relationships. It ruins their life experience. And they're so worried about tomorrow and what comes next. They're so anxious about what's going to happen or what might not even happen, but they're letting that get to them, that they can't be present. And then we wonder why everybody is so unhappy, why everybody is so anxious. And it's because we're not present. We're living in the future, and we're looking at this dark future instead of living in the now. We're missing today, which is the greatest experience you can have right now, is just being present and enjoying what you have today, because you might not wake up tomorrow. Like, you might not even see that future you're so worried about. So why are you not making the most of today? Why are you not living your life to the fullest? Because you're missing today, you're missing yesterday, you've missed the last half decade of your life because you've been so damn anxious. And the reality is, you don't have control of all these external things. You don't have control over if there's a war going on, or how taxpayer money is being spent, or hell, even who the president is. I mean, you don't have control over if the girl says yes or no to giving you her number. You don't have control over whether or not you get that job, but you have control over how you handle yourself and the decisions that you make. You have control over whether or not you studied for the test or that you prep for the interview. You have control over whether you went to the gym and you ate healthy. You have control over whether or not you even went up and talked to the girl in the first place, or if you got scared and ran out of the venue. You have control over limited things in your life, but that should be freeing, because it's not 100,000 things. You don't have control over all of these variables. And yeah, life's going to suck, and life is going to punch you in the mouth over and over again. But as Bill Burr once said, everything's going to be okay. And even if it's not going to be okay, wouldn't you rather live your life as if it's going to be okay and then deal with it when you have to, instead of dealing with the consequences of this thing that hasn't even happened yet and probably won't ever happen? The saddest thing is watching people that I love waste away their life because they're consumed by a bunch of cultural bullshit that doesn't matter. No one cares about that drama on TikTok, because a week from now, no one's going to be talking about it. I mean, what, 2 years ago, the Queen died, and it was the biggest thing ever, and you completely forgot about it until I said something. The point is, nothing matters. And I don't mean that in some nihilistic, we should just all off ourselves kind of way. I mean that in the most freeing, comforting way possible. You don't have to be in control of everything. So stop putting that burden on your shoulders, because it's crushing you, it's crippling you. chances are you don't have some chemical imbalance in your brain that you need to be on SSRIs for. You just are fucking overdoing it. It's like fitness is not that complicated. Like you don't have to do the perfect ass workout. You just need to show up and you're going to get 80% of what you're looking for. I promise you. You just need to eat healthier, cleaner, make it more minimalist. You'll get there. I promise. Even dating is something that we always want to talk about how we hate and how it's complicated and that it's so messed up. And it's something that even I talk about on this channel a whole lot because it is this intricate thing. I've spent the last couple of years going through and learning all of the theory and watching all the stupid cold approach videos that are cringy as hell and figuring out how to do it and trying to get friends of mine to like get over their fear. I've done a bunch of that. It was a complicated thing for me, but it took finding the outlier. It took finding the woman that showed me that it's not that complicated for me to realize that it's really not that complicated. I know what I need to do, and it involves ignoring the noise. It's no different in any other sector. It's the political sector. My first stint in therapy, I knew that I had to cut that out. I knew that it was killing me. And my therapist told me it was killing me, and I held on to it, and it ruined like the next 8 months of my life and probably played into a horrible breakup. And that's on me. But when I let that go, everything started to get better. Politics doesn't define you. The world is not falling apart. The sky is not falling. And I know that I might sound crazy if you're one of those people who have been acting that way for the last couple of years. But I'm telling you, I'm living in a different world than you are. And you can live in this world too. You just need to drop the act, drop the ego. You just need to stop acting like you have to be right about everything, even if you don't even understand what you're talking about. You need to drop your pride because it's ruining your relationships. It's ruining your life. It's taking energy away from you that you could be spending on other things. My sister asked me how I have so much on my plate and how I don't burn out and how I manage to do it all. And it's because, A, I'm not spending so much time on that content, consuming that. So I'm using that time for more productive things or even just fun things. And the energy that's not being sucked out of me going into that, I am channeling into those things, into things that give me energy back, things that I enjoy doing. I'm not saying don't have your beliefs. I'm not saying don't have your values or your morals. I'm not even saying don't have a political affiliation. I'm saying don't make it your world. The key to all of this is letting go. Look, I'm not saying we need to be some stoic, that we need to be Marcus Aurelius, because we're never going to be perfect. And my only wish is for you to see the other side, to see the world where it's not that big of a deal, where you're going to wake up tomorrow the same way you did yesterday, and everything is going to be okay. And the messed up thing about all of this is I can tell you that, and most people are never going to listen, and they're not going to care, and they're going to go on doing their own thing because at the end of the day, they think they know how the world works. And I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that I know how it works, but I can tell you that I've been happier than I've ever been in my entire life. And one of the biggest catalysts to making that jump was letting go of this world because it's a net negative and it drains you physically and emotionally. And if you don't believe me, fine, but at least try it first, and then you can call me a moron in the comments. Stop watching the news. Unfollow the political commentators and the political pages on Instagram and on Facebook. If someone wants to post a bunch of stuff on their story about how, oh, like there's this going on in the world and blah, 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 like they didn't do anything to change that either. So they're just preaching to the choir to try to feel like a good person and virtue signal. And I would say just mute their story and move on, because you should be following things that give you energy, things that help you learn, things that help you grow, things that help you laugh, because that's what we're supposed to use social for, not to make ourselves more miserable. Hell, even if you want to be real frisky, just delete social media for like 6 months, or at least until the political season's over, like I did, because that was a huge catalyst in me turning my life around and rebuilding myself from the foundation up. I don't really have some giant bow to tie this video up with, but I just want you to know that there's a better way to do all of this. And it may not be perfect, but I can tell you it's a lot better than waking up feeling miserable and feeling like the sky is falling every single day. You were blessed with this life. So wouldn't you want to cherish every day instead of living in fear and anxiety every single day over things that are not within your own control? You really got nothing to lose. Worst case, you go back to scroll on Facebook and getting a bunch of opinions you never asked for and feeling like the sky is falling. But if you could make the anxiety stop, if you could make the sky stop falling, you can stop looking up and look in front of you and realize all the great things that are in front of you. Good luck.